All right. I have members of the band Sacred here with me today, Stelio and Thea from the band. Why don't you introduce yourselves and let us know what you do, as well as let us know who else is in the band that wasn't able to make it to this interview.
I'm Stelio. I play guitar. I write music with a few wonderful friends here in the band. Yeah, Thea.
I'm Thea. I'm the cellist. Yeah, we have a really fun group that gets together and get to play and write music together. And who's not here today is my husband, Steve, who plays drums, and Dave Maurer, who is our bass player. And unfortunately, right now, we do not have a singer.
As of this very moment, but that
Right.
is being addressed currently.
Okay. So we can get back to that in a minute, but you guys have a brand new album out. This is your sophomore record. It's titled Myths and Monsters.
Yes.
And that came out, I want to say about a month or so ago, this summer, wasn't it? Or
What was the
Yes.
official release was when, Thea?
Official album, release was in July, but we had been putting out some singles. So the first single was Berlin Wall, that I believe came out in May. And then we had Maker, we released that, and then the full album.
Okay. So this is your sophomore album. Your first album came out, I don't know the exact date, but it was a self-titled affair. So this is your second album. And Stella, you write everything. You're the songwriter and the primary member. I guess
I'm one of
you've been with the band for the longest.
Yeah. I started this band with a few other individuals that played in town. It was just a fun side project for everybody. Everyone had a lot of things going on in their music careers. A guy named Gabriel Sanchez, who does the Prince Experience. He's also a well-known local musician. Eric Medunik. So the three of us and Vince had started just jamming together, just friendly get-togethers. And then all of a sudden I threw a couple riffs out there and they started developing into songs. And but yeah, I guess I've been in the band the longest. Yeah.
Original member.
Yeah.
So you guys have gone through some lineup changes. How did you get involved? How did you come on board, Thea?
Well, when they were looking to do their first album released, they were looking to, perform the music as it sounds on the album. And Peter Thomas had recorded some of the cello tracks. So I was able to have the opportunity to play at Turner Hall with them for their album release. And then after that, I said, hey guys, this is awesome. For me, it was a really fun experience to be able to play a classical instrument in a rock setting. That was a genre that I haven't really played a whole lot with cello. So it's been really fun, pushing myself and expanding my horizons and doing some different things with writing music. So.
And at that time, Peter Thomas was just super busy doing, with the symphony, his required show dates, conflicted with everything. And I was the first one to ask Peter, well, who would you suggest? Because we want to do some shows, man. We got to get out there and do this. And he's like, Thea's amazing. You got to talk to Thea. He just really, he's like, that's the first person I would talk to. So, I mean, obviously when Peter says, Peter's an amazing cello player and it was really great to record with him. But Thea took the music that Peter had written and translated it and brought it live. I don't even think Peter would remember how to play these parts, actually. But he did amazing in the studio. But Thea puts these together live, makes it happen live. It's really exciting to watch, too.
So you've been writing music with additional instrumentation, with the cello instrumentation in mind. But with Thea on board as a member, did that change the songwriting aspects at all, or?
Yeah, because I mean, some songs, you hear things, you hear sounds, and I think the guitar is in many ways, it's just like, to me, it's like a bass guitar almost. It's somewhere between a bass guitar and a lead instrument.
Mhm.
And when you have that versatility in one instrument, it's just like, God, we haven't even scratched the surface of what we can do writing wise. And when me and Thea just mess around for like a couple of hours trying to come up with riffs and harmonize guitar parts with cello, we come up with like so many great ideas. It's like, God, I wonder if we were able to do this full time. I wonder how much else we could come up with. That would be amazing, you know?
So this album was written with the current members on board, Myths and Monsters.
Yeah. A few of these songs were written before with the previous lineup,
Mhm.
but we recorded these with the current lineup. And a couple of these songs, particularly Maker and a song called Vixen, um, were were written with this lineup. And also Misery was rearranged a little bit with this lineup. So,
Okay.
and Thea did some additional cello parts that change your cello parts, right, Thea, on Misery a little bit?
No, we might have lost her for the moment. So
Yeah.
the first single off of the album is Berlin Wall, and you guys put together a video for that, to release that song, and recorded. That video consists of, both video of you guys performing as well as a lot of clips, of news clips.
Yeah.
So
That, when we wrote the song, which came about really quickly, but when we wrote the song, it had a social justice theme to it from day one. Like we were, we built kind of the song around that concept of the Berlin Wall and like what that still represents today, and the walls that like still separate people, like,
mhm.
the southern border wall, the walls of racism, and just cruelty that happens in the world today. And as we were rehearsing the song and playing it live, we're like, we got to get this recorded, number one. Number two, we got to do video. But when the time came for this album, I mean, everything just started happening, like with the protests around the country, around the world. And it looks like we lost Thea temporarily. Do you want to wait for Thea?
No, we can keep going.
Okay.
So yeah, so you have a lot of video footage to kind of reinforce that, which I think makes quite an impact in the video.
Yeah, it's hi Thea.
Hi, sorry guys, I had a bad connection.
That's all right.
And it kind of reinforces, like, so much has changed and so little has changed.
Mhm.
You're looking at a wall of human beings that are in line to protest peacefully,
Mhm.
and you're looking at a wall separating human beings from the family from family. It's like
Mhm.
literally 80 feet across that wall are family members that they'd had to get permission to go visit the other side, and it's amazing that those so little has changed. I mean, yeah,
Right.
things have changed and improved, but at the same time, we're still in the same place in many aspects.
Seems like
Yeah. Go
that's
ahead.
true.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you guys you had, it sounds like you had written that song again a while back, but it just really resonates in today's environment. Why don't you tell us about the other? You also put together a video for Maker. Why don't you give us a little description on that?
Thea,
Well,
you wanna...
the other video.
Oh, you're putting together. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Berlin
Yeah.
Wall is the first video that's out, and we're planning
Mhm.
to make more videos still. So
Okay.
those are.
So are you working currently on the video, and how does the as I assume the pandemic has put a kind of a wrench into the creative process, as it has with all of the bands, and all of kind of music, it's kind of turned everything on its head.
Yeah, we did a promo video for the album. I don't know
Hmm.
if you had a chance to see that. It has little clips of all the songs.
Yeah.
And when we filmed that, we were able to just literally take a camera around the city, and it was pretty much a ghost town still the city of Milwaukee, and all different parts of town. And it was we had to do it. It's like, let's document this somehow. And other people have done it in different cities in different ways, but we wanted to kind of do that and express it in our own way. Basically, like, kind of like, this is what's happening right now. Like, this is the scary reality of the situation, but also like music was like, still coming through like everywhere, and creative process is still happening. And, we're working on a couple of concepts for a couple other videos.
Mhm.
Although, yeah, it is a little bit more challenging to get people together and stuff in groups, but we have a couple of exciting ideas. Thea has kind of, told me to be careful about one of them.
I'm
we
the
try to
voice
keep it.
and
What's that? Yeah, you're the conscience. She
uh,
is the conscience in the human resources department of the band. So, but for the song Vixen, we have some great ideas we're throwing around right now. But I'm also kind of feeling misery. Like, Maker's another powerful song, and like, God, I wish I could think of a visual to bring that out there. Like, it's so powerful, like the lyrics and everything.
Mhm.
That's almost like too sensitive of a topic. Like, when you're talking about God and questioning your faith, and that's tough to do that without coming off cheesy or without coming off like, pretentious.
Okay.
So we're
Yeah.
thinking about
So
misery or misery or Vixen for the next video.
okay. So when you talk about the power of the lyrics, you guys just parted way with Vince Black, your vocalist.
Yes.
And it sounds like this happened really recently, and you're working, obviously it's working through how that's going to affect the band. I guess when you have powerful lyrics, it has to be difficult to bring in another vocalist to kind of like embody those lyrics.
Absolutely. Because you know what? It's on stage, someone's got to mean it, right? You can't
Mm-hmm.
just sing lyrics. You kind of got to mean it. Like somebody
Right.
who's got to feel comfortable, proud to represent the music, but also represent someone else's lyrics. So you're totally right, Craig. That's a real, probably one of the toughest challenges. But I do feel like we are jamming with a few very good friends,
Mm-hmm.
um, who we've been friends with for a while, and we've got some great. We're kind of excited about. We're just gonna see how things go, because we don't want to just rush and do something we're not 100% proud of. But yeah, it's like you got to sell those lyrics live, right? You can't just
Right.
write
And
them.
some of
I
the
get, go ahead.
group. So, some of them were written as a group, and especially too with a lot of input from Stelio. So, but I think on this album, all of these songs represent things that are very relatable, that everybody has been through at some point in life. And so, although yes, on stage you really do need to be able to feel those lyrics and be able to show that. I think that's partly why this album has been, so well received, because everybody can relate to those lyrics.
Yeah, and I would think too it would help if you're jamming with people who have been friends of the band and kind of been familiar with the band. It probably helps as well, because they've kind of seen the band evolve and are very familiar with all of you, as well as with Vince as now the formal vocalist, to kind of come in and understand how the band works and kind of the personalities and everything.
Right.
Yeah, Vince did a tremendous job, and we're glad that he was a part of the band when he was, and we wish him the best. But I feel like this is an opportunity, honestly, and I don't just say that like in a kind of a cheesy way. Well, it's an opportunity for us to go to the next level. Well, this is an opportunity for us to reevaluate everything we're doing and
Mm-hmm.
take it somewhere else. And so you don't always get that opportunity, right? Sometimes you get stuck with the same people and you produce the same stuff, and you're like, I don't know, you kind of get in a creative rut. Well, if we bring in somebody that we haven't written with before, I feel like it's an exciting chance to bring something out of all of us. So I'm looking forward to that part.
Yeah, and that kind of also, I think, speaks to kind of the way Sacred has evolved as a band. You you mentioned, you know, you started the band with different members than you have now. So you kind of, it's been an evolution throughout the, you know, throughout your time as a band, you know, with you, Stelly, obviously being, you know, the central member of the band that's been there the entire time.
Yeah, I just have a passion for music, and like a lot of guys probably would have just quit after, you know, Gabriel and Eric leave the band, right? Like two of the top musicians here in Wisconsin, you know, quit the band for different reasons. Like Gabriel, Prince died, and he's, you know, on the road doing Prince shows in New York. I mean, I don't blame him, you know, but at that point, some people would just said, oh, okay, we're done. But I just feel like there's some great songs we started with. I want to keep the momentum going. Thea came in, not just as a cello player, but as a writing partner. Dave and Steve. Steve is a very creative drummer. In fact, probably one more creative. Like he can go in any genre within a couple of bars. Like he can go from, you know, metal to hardcore to pop within 2 bars, like literally, and pull it off, like on the drums. So I don't know a lot of drummers that can do that or be able to change vibes based on what the song needs. So it's really exciting what they bring to the table. And Dave and Steve playing a cover band, an 80s cover band called Mixtape. And so their experience from their other bands, and I think is something kind of refreshing that, you know, it's great to have in a band, you know.
Yeah, I would imagine having that rhythm section really locked in helps that out. And I know that Steve, having listened to the other bands that he's played in, you know, as a drummer, really fits what he's playing to the music. You know, it's not just laying down, you know, 4 on the floor or whatever it is, but it's really trying to make the drums, you know, another melodic instrument almost in that case.
I agree 100%. And probably my favorite drum track on the new album, Maker, if you just listening from the beginning to the end, just to the drums, focusing in on the drums, I think that's the like primary example of Steve's like diversity in his style and how he plays. And I mean, I would love just that. I told him, I'm like, dude, you got to do like a video of you doing that song on drums, you know, like I think people would love to see it. I think it's just an exciting drum song. I never mind the cello. The cello is amazing. The bass is amazing. No offense, Thea, but I'm talking about I think the drums are just really cool, how they transition when it goes from the intro to like the stops, and, you know, it gets really intense. And then you hear the snare, some of the cymbal riding. It's just really cool stuff.
Right. He plays what the song really needs. He has a gift for.
Yeah, absolutely. So the new album, Sacred's new album, is titled Myths and Monsters. It's available on your Bandcamp page, and do you have it up on streaming platforms as well?
Yep, all the streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you find your music.
So the website is sacred.band, B-A-N-D, and the Bandcamp page is sacredmke.bandcamp.com. Well, thank you for joining me here this morning. We're going to hear a couple more songs and get back into music.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks,
Thank
Craig.
you guys. Thanks.